Welcome to Blender 4.5 course part 7. In the previous chapter I've built this model and then introduced many features in the modeling. I will create another model later in the future chapters and work with other tools and other features in Blender. Now in this chapter I want to talk about the material, shader and coloring in Blender, how to apply a color, lighting features, shadowing features, and so on multiple 3D objects. You can access to all chapters and the other parts from the playlist here, and also the link is in the description. Here I have the model. Let's add another object, the cube, and also a sphere. A UV sphere is good. Here, as you can see, the sphere is a hard surface, hard edges, and I need to select it as I explained in the previous chapter. Right click and shade smooth, and as you can see, it's smooth surface, smooth edges. Right. For shading and apply materials, create materials, you need to switch to the shading mode. Here, as you can see, we have a different environment, a different lighting. We have a ambient light, but it's not final render, because if you press the Z key or look at the top, we are in the material preview, which we can see the colors, material attributes, and so on. The lights doesn't work here, and we have only a light just for watching the differences and the result of the materials. Now let's explain what a material is. Material is a package that you need to add your textures and details. Texture is the color and the image that will apply on your mesh or your 3D model, and you need to connect and add that texture to the material. And also you can specify some details on the material, for example the level of roughness, the level of details, and extra features, the level of metalness, and so on. You can add many custom features to the material. I will upload every chapter of the course every week, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification to know about the new chapters and new tutorials. If you select your mesh, here I'll start with sphere, and here in the shader editor you can also open the shader editor here, select this and shader editor. You can open the shader editor here as well. Press the new button to create a new material. And here we have a structure just like before in the HDRI lighting. Here, if you remember, in the previous chapters in the lighting section, I introduced here and we connected some nodes and apply an HDRI lighting to the scene. In the object mode, which we can add and assign materials to the 3D objects, here we have a node-based environment just like HDRI lighting. These two nodes and also all nodes we will add to the scene are our material. And this node is a shader. Shader is a piece of code that written by Blender, and we can add many shaders, and each shader has several attributes and properties. If we press Shift A, we can access to all nodes that exist in Blender. For example, if you go to the shader, we have all the shaders provided by Blender. Here, Principled BSDF is the shader we have in the scene currently already. Also, we have other shaders, for example, for volumes, Principled Volume, for clouds, mist, and so on glass shader for glassy surfaces, emission shader for glowing surfaces, and so on. Also, with the add shader and mix shader, we can combine two or multiple shaders with each other. We can create a complicated material and add many nodes and combine them. We will explain about it later. Actually, I can't explain about all the nodes here. We have a lot of nodes in Blender, and some of them are unnecessary for this course. I will explain and use the shaders based on our needs in each chapter. For this sphere, I want to use a simple material, and I don't want to use any specific node, but for the other 3D objects I will use extra nodes. Here in the principled BSDF, which is the most advanced shader provided by Blender, it has many features. The first attribute is base color. Before that, I forgot, the BSDF result is connected to the surface. Surface is the final material related to the object. If we press the control and right click drag, you can see the object doesn't have any material and color, but in this case we have. The surface is the final renderer, and we need to connect the BSDF or the shader result to the surface. This is very important. You need to connect a shader to the surface finally. Doesn't matter how many shaders you have in a material and how many connections you have. You need to connect a shader result to the surface. For example, if I add a diffuse BSDF, it's very small and just 3 inputs here we have. If we connect it to the surface, we have a result as well. Alright, the first field we have is the base color. Base color is the main color of the 3D model. We can change it, we can make it darker, and here we can change the type of colors. As you can see, just the values and attributes will be changed, but the coloring won't be changed, and there are no differences. Here, if we increase the hue, as you can see, we are changing the whole color, and look at this circular shape. If we change the saturation, as you can see, we have a wider color when we have a small value, small amount of saturation. With the value, we can control the color brightness. We have a darker color with a small amount of value field, and here we have a brighter color. Alpha is the transparency, and I don't want to talk about it right now, but first we need to talk about the alpha field. Also, we can connect a texture to the base color instead of a solid color. Actually, we can connect an image to the base color. Here we have an input node. Input node can take an input and another node. I will explain it for the other 3D models. Here we have the metallic section, and as you can see, the surface is now metalless, and you need to increase or decrease the metallic section based on your needs. This is beautiful for metallic section, metallic areas. For the roughness, we can specify how much our 3D model is rough or wet. Here, this is completely rough and doesn't reflect any light, actually, in a simple word, but with small values of roughness, as you can see, we have a reflective surface, and you need to adjust it based on your need. For example, a camera lens has a value like this, or a water surface has a value like this. Alright, the next section is IOR, or index of refraction. Actually, it specifies how much our surface will reflect and spread the light. For example, if we have bigger values, as you can see, our model is spreading the light much bigger than the previous value. And here, if we have a rough surface, and here, as you can see, we have more spreaded reflection actually. For instance, for the water surface, this value works, even 1.4 like this. But for a plastic surface, you need to increase it because plastic surface has more spreaded reflection. Alright, now let's talk about the alpha. Alpha specifies how much our surface is transparent. As you can see, if we decrease it, here we can see the other side, and our model is semi-transparent. And here we can't see the object anymore. We can assign a texture, a black and white texture, to the alpha, and white areas mean we don't have any transparent area on those areas, and black areas, black colors means those areas are transparent, and it will apply to the alpha, and we have a pattern finally. Here, this is the normal or normal map. Normal map applies some bumpy areas on the surface. We can't easily assign a normal map. We have some steps and complexities, and also if we want to achieve a very realistic and good normal map, you need to use 3D texturing software. Also, you can add textures to your object in the texture paint. I will work it later, and add normal map to your object. I don't deep dive into it for now. It is a more complicated section. I will talk about it later, but only I can say texture, the normal map texture is a kind of blue texture. Actually, I will show you several textures for the base color, metallic, roughness, and normal map at the end of the video. Alright, I will ignore some specific sections, for example, diffuse and diffuse roughness. It is not so important as much as the others, but subsurface scattering, I'll ignore it because I want to record a complete tutorial on it, and it has many features and it's too complicated. It should be a separate video, and it's not good to explain this section in this video. Specular, actually it does look like the IOR, but IOR is kinda new in Blender. But specular is a traditional aspect in the all 3D tools. You can specify how much your surface will spread the light and reflect the light, and it's so better to work with this section, not IOR, because you have more control. Here you can specify what the method of your distribution. Multi-scatter GGX will give you better quality. Here in the IOR level, you can specify how much light should spread, just like here, but we have a limitation in this field. Beside that, you can change the color of reflection. As you can see, now we have a red color on the reflected area, or blue color, or you can assign and connect a texture or image to the tint because it has an input node. The next two attributes are anisotropic and anisotropic rotation. Will add a horizontal reflective area on your surface with anisotropic with this value, but we can't see any noticeable differences here. I don't know why, but let's switch to multi-scatter. In many type of surfaces and 3D models, actually we don't need to change the anisotropic, but if it applies to the surface, it will add a small amount of horizontal reflection to the surface, and also anisotropic rotation, change the rotation of that horizontal line. You can change the direction of it. Alright, The transmission section related to the reflection, you can make your surface reflective. It is different from metallic section or roughness section because it is very useful for something, for instance, mirror, and it is different from the roughness, as you can see. The next thing is coat. Coat will add more wet area, focused wet area on the object. No matter how much your roughness value is, for example, we have a rough tree model here. Let's add the coat. Let's change the weight. And as you can see, we have more focused reflective section on the surface. And it is completely wet, while the roughness value is 1, means it is completely rough. And actually it works in a different channel. As you can see, we have a different reflective area, and this is completely separated from coat. In some other 3D tools, it also called clear coat, and it is very useful for glasses and mirrors and so on. Also, you can change the roughness. Clear coat has a roughness value that is different from this roughness. Also, you can change the IOR, or index of refraction, here for the clear coat. And you can change the tint or color of the coat. The next thing is sheen. Let's turn off the coat. Sheen will add and highlight around the object. Here, as you can see, the sphere around of the sphere is shining, and no matter where the direction of the camera is. And you can change the roughness of it, which with the low value of the roughness, the range of the highlight is smaller. And here we can change the tint. It is very useful for glowing object or add rim light. Rim light is a technique to adding highlights to the object, and you can use the sheen based on your needs. The next thing is emission. You can add glowing effect on your object. Here we have a red color and we need to change the strength. And as you can see, our object is glowing. We can add real glowing. I will focus and explain on post effects and post processing later, but this is the emission, basic emission, and it's ready to add post effects to it. Right, the last attribute is not so important, and now you're ready to add materials to these two objects. I will add and introduce more nodes and also introduce the textures for these two 3D objects in the next chapter.